Hello, and welcome. Hey look, a new season of anime is coming up, and it's packing. I swear, this decade has just been so back-heavy each year. It seems like all the exciting anime gets saved for the fall season, so we're going to be eating well. And that's why I'm going to be running through the upcoming anime that'll leave us impressed, depressed, or mating-pressed. Which is why you should join me as I continue my journey. Starting with the sequels coming soon, of course, with Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Part 3. I have to admit, I have the least amount of experience with this amongst the big three, but you don't need me to tell you that this is going to be high quality. Just like Shangri-La Frontier Season 2. I'm actually surprised we're getting this one already. Not because I didn't think we'd get a second season, but because the same studio made Reincarnated as a Sword 2 years ago, announced the second season right after, and that's the last we've heard about that. But we've also got Spirit Chronicles Season 2, Danmachi Season 5, Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online 2, Blue Exorcist comes back as well. Yeah, remember how this got a new season earlier this year? Neither do I. You know what else is coming back surprisingly? Natsume's Book of Friends for a 7th season. 7. Getting to 3 seasons is already quite an accomplishment in anime. Though I'm surprised they're calling this Season 7 and not Natsume's Book of Friends, the final season, the final chapters, Part 2, The Last Attack. Who else is getting a sequel? Rurouni Kenshin's remake is, The Seven Deadly Sins continues on life support. Mobfuck Ghost and Ron Kaminahashi's Forbidden Deduction Season 2 joined Shangri-La Frontiers anime from last fall to get a sequel. Can't forget Arifureta Season 3 and Blue Lock Season 2. No, I'm not going to show any footage for the second one. You're still watching the trailer for Arifureta. I learned my lesson from my second video not to use any footage from this series. Too risky. Just watch it anyway because it's pretty good. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world as the most recent anime to get a second season, as this was a spring show. Let's see, am I missing anything? Ah yes, a herbivorous dragon of 5,000 years gets unfairly villainized. Season 2 comes out. Alright, I'm stalling for time at this point. But we do have Demon Lord Retry R, a sequel to an anime I don't actually know much about, but it's not the only Demon Lord we're getting this season. Demon Lord 2099 is a brand new reverse isekai where the Demon Lord awakens in a cyberpunk version of Tokyo, but with a desire to still take over the world. All I want out of this anime is for it to be way more entertaining than the last one I watched with a similar premise. However, I do have one concern about this, and that's that it's being made by JC Staff, who have a lot of anime under their belt this year, including this season, where they've got the aforementioned Danmachi Season 5, but they're also coming out with Magi Lumiere Company Ltd. I've heard good things about the manga, and I find the concept of magical girls being all-powerful but still a subject to corporate bureaucracy to be really funny. Let's hope that JC Staff is able to deliver on all these, despite how much they're pumping out this season. Wait, they're making another? Good lord. Well, there's also the story of the girl who couldn't become a wizard, and it's a second JC Staff magical girl anime this upcoming season. But I am somewhat interested in this because it looks really colorful and pretty, and it's got... And it's also directed by Masato Matsune, who was the director of last year's Reign of the Seven Spellblades, which is an anime that I really liked, even if most people probably didn't. Seriously, this anime was pretty good. But seriously, JC Staff, do you want to become MAPPA? Speaking of which, they've had a pretty quiet year, which is understandable with what they gave us last year and the year before, but they are making the remake of Ranma 1/2. Which is another classic anime getting a modern remake, just like Urusei Yatsura. I do enjoy the classics. Yu Yu Hakusho is one of my all-time favorites, so it's nice to see these classics being brought to a newer audience. But some anime are eternal, like Dragon Ball, since this fall we're getting a brand new Dragon Ball series with Dragon Ball Daima. And I'm going to be completely honest here, I haven't watched anything Dragon Ball related since I was in the single digits. Well, I did watch the superhero movie with a friend, but I haven't really followed the series for a while. Even with saying that, I am very much looking forward to Daima. For one, I was always much more into the original Dragon Ball series. A bunch of goofball kids going on wacky adventures and getting into all sorts of shenanigans. That's a Dragon Ball for me. So going back to that format while making all the characters kids again, I'm hoping it's able to capture that feeling that the original Dragon Ball had. And this is a final project that Toriyama worked on, so if anything, I think that makes it worth deserving a look. There's plenty more coming out this season too. Are you a fan of rom-coms? If so, then man, you're enjoying this summer already, but this fall is bringing some heat with it too. Blue Box is perhaps the biggest new rom-com coming out. It's about these two student athletes. He was a badminton boy. She's doing layups boy. He seems good enough for her. She's a b-ball ace. Her throws go up in space. Can I make it any more obvious? 365 Days to the Wedding is not an upcoming reality dating show, but an upcoming rom-com about two employees pretending to be married so they don't get sent to Siberia. That's like the evolved form of
Take him to Detroit.
Yakuza Fiancé is another marriage-related romance anime about this girl who's in an arranged marriage with the grandson of a Yakuza group. Fortunately, she's a granddaughter of another Yakuza group. Even more fortunately, there's If My Wife Becomes an Elementary Schooler. No, I'm not a Minecraft streamer, don't get the wrong idea! Yeah, this may be a rather unfortunate title for an anime to have, especially one you're planning to watch, but from what I've gathered, this is much more about dealing with the loss of a loved one and the feelings of grief that come with. Yeah, I've got a feeling this one's gonna hit hard. You Are Miss Servant, which seems to be like if the angel next door spoils me rotten, also killed people. Tying the Knot with an Amagami Sister is a brand new harem for this season, and it looks really fluffy and cute. I wonder what else the same studio is making this season. Oh, hell yeah, this should be on everyone's radar. Junji Ito, celebrated horror mangaka, is a man cursed with inferior anime adaptations of his works. However, Uzumaki's adaptation has been in development for years now, and even though it's all this effort for just 4 episodes, guys, this is looking like the real deal. We need more great horror anime, pickings are slim. Please make sure you check this out. But we've also got a terrified teacher at Ghoul School. I bring this up because Wikipedia calls it comedy horror, but after watching the trailer, I have my doubts about the latter part of that. Negative Positive Angler might be interesting too. For one, it's a new anime from Studio Nut, but also because it's a fishing anime, however the main character is dying of a terminal disease. Another anime that may be of interest is Orb, on the Movements of the Earth, which is being made by Madhouse. Is this a second coming of Frieren? No. But the night sky looks really pretty here, and how often do you see historical fiction anime, let alone one set in Poland? Madhouse is also making Trillion Game, where these anime boys are trying to earn $1 trillion. Or as I like to call it, earning 1 million Dr. Evils. Mechanical Arms. Okay, this is interesting. It's based off of a single episode OVA from 6 years ago, and now it's getting a full season proper. Now the original has its fans, a fair amount, but OVAs made into entire seasons don't always come across with the same level of quality that was given to a single episode, though the trailer is pretty promising. Not satisfied with just having Blue Lock and Blue Box this season and one another blue anime, well what about the Blue Wolves of Mibu? I would go into more detail, but the trailers released so far haven't really given us too much, so maybe I'm making this video too early. What about fantasy? The most notorious talker runs the world's greatest clan. It's a perfect anime if you play a bard in Dungeons & Dragons, and if you do play a bard, then why? However, the MC here is so powerful at yapping that he's gained several skills from it alone, so yes, this is a Talk no Jutsu anime. The healer, who was banished from his party, is actually the strongest. Okay, this is the second healer anime we're getting this year, but I don't know if that's enough to cover for the most well-known healer anime out there. Let this grieving soul retire. Woe is a weakling who leads the strongest party. Yeah, we're in the light novel adaptation section of this video. Is an anime about a guy forced to go treasure hunting when he really just wants to retire. My guess why is because he knew the guys from Trillion Game. Acro Trip is another magical girl anime, but this one isn't made by JC Staff. Villainess anime more your thing? Well, good, because oh boy do we have villainess anime this season. I'll Become a Villainess, who goes down in history, animated by Maho Film. Nina the Starry Bride, animated by Signal MD. And The Do-Over Damsel Conquers the Dragon Emperor, animated by, are you kidding me? Isekai. Surprisingly, there's not a whole lot of isekai this upcoming season, but we do have Loner Life in Another World being the third anime this year where the MC and his entire class get isekai'd after Failure Frame and Arifureta Season 3. And yes, this is another I got isekai'd and I have a useless skill, but I'm going to be the best! Woohoo! Though it does actually look pretty fun. Goodbye Dragon Life technically isn't an isekai, but a reincarnation where this guy used to be a dragon but instead gets reincarnated to something even better. Some guy named Dolan. And that's it. There aren't any other isekai coming this season. Oh, yes! Look everyone, I may have covered a lot of anime up to this point, but if there's any anime you need to watch this season, it should absolutely be ReZero. Genuinely one of the greatest anime ever made, no question. However, it's not the only anime I'd say is necessary to watch, as there's Dandadan. Guys, I'm a huge fan of the manga, and this weekend I was able to see the first 3 episodes with some friends. And look, you're not ready for this. This is a perfect adaptation of what was considered a near impossible to adapt series. Science Saru has this in good hands. I mean, just look at how good the trailer is, how good the OP is. Everything looks so good! This is just about the weirdest anime you can get, but I'm here for it. But seriously, if you're taking anything from this video, watch ReZero and watch Dandadan, as it no doubt brings us one step closer to finding the perfect anime. And there you have it, that's 45 anime coming out this fall season. Which ones are you planning to watch? This fall is looking absolutely packed, and I'm so excited for it. And there are other anime continuing from the summer, like 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. I think that's it actually. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to sub JC for more staff. I've been working on my longest video yet, and it should be out next weekend at this rate, so be sure to look forward to that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.